AT&T Inc. is an American multinational telecommunications corporation, headquartered at Whitacre Tower in downtown Dallas, Texas. AT&T is the largest provider of mobile telephone and the largest provider of fixed telephone in the United States, and also provides broadband subscription television services. AT&T is the third largest company in Texas. As of May 2014, AT&T is the 23rd largest company in the world as measured by a composite of revenues, profits, assets and market value, and the 16th largest non-oil company. As of 2014, it is also the 20th largest mobile telecom operator in the world, with over 250 million mobile customers. The current iteration of AT&T Incorporated began its existence as Southwestern Bell Corporation, one of 7 regional Bell operating companies created in 1983 in the divestiture of parent company American Telephone and Telegraph Company due to the United States v. AT&T antitrust lawsuit. Southwestern Bell changed its name to SBC Communications Inc. in 1995. In 2005, SBC purchased former parent AT&T Corporation and took on its branding, with the merged entity naming itself AT&T Incorporated and using the iconic AT&T Corporation logo and stock trading symbol. The current AT&T reconstitutes much of the former Bell system and includes 10 of the original 22 Bell operating companies, along with one it partially owned, and the original long-distance division. History: prior to 2005 purchase by SBC, AT&T can indirectly trace its origin back to the original Bell Telephone Company founded by Alexander Graham Bell after his invention of the telephone. One of that company's subsidiaries was American Telephone and Telegraph Company, established in 1885, which acquired the Bell Company on December 31, 1899 for legal reasons, leaving AT&T as the main company. AT&T established a network of subsidiaries in the United States that held a government-authorized phone service monopoly, formalized with the Kingsbury Commitment, throughout most of the 20th century. This monopoly was known as the Bell System, and during this period, AT&T was also known by the nickname Ma Bell. For periods of time, the former AT&T was the world's largest phone company. In 1984, U.S. regulators broke up the AT&T monopoly, requiring AT&T to divest its regional subsidiaries and turning them each into individual companies. These new companies were known as regional Bell operating companies, or more informally, Baby Bells. AT&T continued to operate long-distance services, but thanks to the breakup, faced competition from new competitors such as MCI and Sprint. Southwestern Bell was one of the companies created by the breakup of AT&T. It wasn't long before the company started a series of acquisitions. This includes the 1987 acquisition of Metro Media Mobile Business, and the acquisition of several cable companies in the early 1990s. In the later half of the 1990s, the company acquired several other telecommunications companies, including some Baby Bells, while selling its cable business. During this time, the company changed its name to SBC Communications. By 1998, the company was in the top 15 of the Fortune 500, and by 1999 the company was part of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Since 2005, in 2005, SBC purchased AT&T for $16 billion. After this purchase, SBC adopted the AT&T name and brand. The original 1885 AT&T still exists as the long-distance phone subsidiary of this company. In September 2013, AT&T announced it would expand into Latin America through a collaboration with Carlos Slim unregistered trademark S America Movil. On December 17, 2013, AT&T announced plans to sell its Connecticut wireline operations to Stamford-based Frontier Communications. Roughly 2,700 wireline employees supporting AT&T unregistered trademark S operations in Connecticut will transfer with the business to Frontier, as well as 900,000 voice connections, 415,000 broadband connections, and 180,000 UVerse video subscribers. On May 18, 2014, AT&T announced it had agreed to purchase Direct In the deal, which has been approved by boards of both companies, Directive stockholders will receive $95 a share in cash and stock, valuing the deal at $48.5 billion. Including assumed debt, the total purchase price is about $67.1 billion. The deal was aimed at increasing AT&T's market share in the pay TV sector. Its existing U-verse brand has modest market share and operates in only 22 states. It will also give AT&T access to fast-growing Latin American markets, where Directive has 18 million subscribers. Additionally, the purchase will allow the AT&T to offer TV through both fiber optic lines and satellites by maintaining the Directive brand as a separate subsidiary, and give the company greater flexibility in creating Internet bundles. The deal will face regulatory approval by the FCC, the U.S. Department of Justice, and some Latin American governments. It is expected to take about 12 months to complete. Political contributions and lobbying. According to the Center for Responsive Politics, AT&T is the second largest donor to United States political campaigns, and the top American corporate donor, having contributed more than $47.7 million since 1990, 56% and 44% of which went to Republican and Democratic recipients, respectively. Also, during the period of 1998 to 2010, the company expended $130 million on lobbying in the United States. A key political issue for AT&T has been the question of which businesses win the right to profit by providing broadband Internet access in the United States. In 2005, AT&T was among 53 entities that contributed the maximum of $250,000 to the second inauguration of President George W. Bush. American Legislative Exchange Council, Bill Lee, representing AT&T, sits on the Private Enterprise Board of the American Legislative Exchange Council. Legislation. AT&T supported the Federal Communications Commission Process Reform Act of 2013, a bill that would make a number of changes to procedures that the Federal Communications Commission follows in its rulemaking processes. The FCC would have to act in a more transparent way as a result of this bill, forced to accept public input about regulations. Executive Vice President, Federal Relations Tim McComb said that the bill's much-needed institutional reforms will help arm the agency with the tools to keep pace with the Internet speed of today's marketplace. It will also ensure that outmoded regulatory practices for today's competitive marketplace are properly placed in the dustbin of history. Landline operating companies. Of the 24 companies that were part of the Bell system, 11 are a part of the current AT&T, Bell South Telecommunications, Illinois Bell, Indiana Bell, Michigan Bell, Ohio Bell, Pacific Bell, Nevada Bell, Southwestern Bell, Wisconsin Bell, Southern New England Telephone. Former operating companies. The following companies have gone to defunct status under SBC AT&T ownership: Southwestern Bell Texas, a separate operating company created by SBC, absorbed operations of original SWBT on December 30, 2001 and became Southwestern Bell Telephone, LP. Eventually merged into SWBT Incorporated in 2007, which became the current Southwestern Bell. Woodbury Telephone, merged into Southern New England Telephone on June 1, 2007. Future of rural landlines. AT&T has stated that it will declare its intentions for its rural landlines on November 7, 2012. AT&T had previously announced that it was considering a sale of its rural landlines, which are not wired for AT&T's U-verse service. However, it has also stated that it may keep the business after all. AT&T would not be the first baby Bell to sell off rural landlines. Ameritech sold some of its Wisconsin lines to CenturyTel in 1998. Bell South sold some of its lines to MebTel in the 2000s. US West sold many historically Bell landlines to Lynch Communications and Pacific Telecom in the 1990s. Verizon sold many of its New England lines to Fairpoint in 2008 and its West Virginia operations to Frontier Communications in 2010. Corporate structure. AT&T Incorporated has retained the holding companies it has acquired over the years, resulting in the following corporate structure: AT&T Incorporated, publicly traded holding company, Southwestern Bell Telephone Company DA, AT&T Arkansas, AT&T Kansas, AT&T Missouri, AT&T Oklahoma, AT&T Southwest, AT&T Texas, AT&T Teleholdings, Incorporated DA, AT&T East, AT&T Midwest, AT&T West. Formerly Ameritech, acquired in 1999. Absorbed Pacific Telesis and SNET Corporation under AT&T ownership. Illinois Bell Telephone Company DA, AT&T Illinois, Indiana Bell Telephone Company DA, AT&T Indiana, Michigan Bell Telephone Company DA, AT&T Michigan, the Ohio Bell Telephone Company DA, AT&T Ohio, Pacific Bell Telephone Company DA, AT&T California, Nevada Bell Telephone Company DA, AT&T Nevada. The Southern New England Telephone Company DA, AT&T Connecticut, Wisconsin Bell, Incorporated DA, AT&T Wisconsin. AT&T Corporation, acquired 2005, Alascom, Incorporated DA, AT&T Alaska. Bell South Corporation DA, AT&T South, acquired 2006, Bell South Telecommunications, LLC DA, AT&T Alabama, AT&T Florida, AT&T Georgia, AT&T Louisiana, AT&T Kentucky, AT&T Mississippi, AT&T North Carolina, AT&T South Carolina, AT&T Southeast, AT&T Tennessee, AT&T Mobility, Cricket Wireless. Corporate governance. AT&T's current board of directors, Randall L. Stevenson, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, James H. Blanchard, Gilbert F. Emilio, Ruben V. Anderson, Jaime Chico Pardo, James P. Kelly, John C. Madonna, Lynn M. Martin, John B. McCoy, Joyce M. Rocha. Copyright, Matthew K. Rose, Laura D'Andrea Tyson, Criticism and Controversies, Hemisphere Database. The company maintains a database of call detail records of all telephone calls that have passed through its network since 1987. AT&T employees work at high-intensity drug trafficking area offices in Los Angeles, Atlanta, and Houston, so data can be quickly turned over to law enforcement agencies. Records are requested via administrative subpoena, without the involvement of a court or grand jury. Censorship. In August 2007, the band Pearl Jam performed in Chicago at Lollapalooza, which was being web broadcast by AT&T. The band, while playing the song Daughter, started playing a version of Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall, but with altered lyrics critical of President George W. Bush. These lyrics included George Bush, "Leave this world alone," and George Bush, "Find yourself another home." Listeners to AT&T's web broadcast heard only the first line because the rest was censored, although AT&T spokesman Michael Coe said that the silencing was a mistake. In September 2007, AT&T changed their legal policy to state that AT&T may immediately terminate or suspend all or a portion of your service, any member ID, electronic mail address, IP address, universal resource locator or domain name used by you, without notice for conduct that AT&T believes tends to damage the name or reputation of AT&T, or its parents, affiliates and subsidiaries. By October 10, 2007, AT&T had altered the terms and conditions for its Internet service to explicitly support freedom of expression by its subscribers, after an outcry claiming the company had given itself the right to censor its subscribers' transmissions. Section 5.1 of AT&T's new Terms of Service now reads: AT&T respects freedom of expression and believes it is a foundation of our free society to express differing points of view. AT&T will not terminate, disconnect or suspend service because of the views you or we express on public policy matters, political issues or political campaigns. On July 27, 2009, AT&T customers were unable to access certain sections of the image board 4chan, specifically and. However, by the morning of Monday, July 27, the block had been lifted and access to the affected boards was restored. AT&T's official reason for the block was that a distributed denial of service attack had originated from the img.4chan.org server, and access was blocked to stop the attack. Major news outlets have reported that the issue may be related to DDoSing of 4chan, and that the suspicions of 4chan users fell on AnonTalk.com at the time for doing this. Privacy controversy. In 2006, the Electronic Frontier Foundation lodged a class action lawsuit, Hepting v. AT&T, which alleged that AT&T had allowed agents of the National Security Agency to monitor phone and Internet communications of AT&T customers without warrants. If true, this would violate the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act of 1978 and the First and Fourth Amendments of the U.S. Constitution. AT&T has yet to confirm or deny that monitoring by the NSA is occurring. In April 2006, a retired former AT&T technician, Mark Klein, lodged an affidavit supporting this allegation. The Department of Justice has stated they will intervene in this lawsuit by means of state secrets privilege. In July 2006, the United States District Court for the Northern District of California in which the suit was filed rejected a federal government motion to dismiss the case. The motion to dismiss, which invoked the state secrets privilege, had argued that any court review of the alleged partnership between the federal government and AT&T would harm national security. The case was immediately appealed to the Ninth Circuit. It was dismissed on June 3, 2009, citing retroactive legislation in the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. In May 2006, USA Today reported that all international and domestic calling records had been handed over to the National Security Agency by AT&T, Verizon, SBC, and Bell South for the purpose of creating a massive calling database. The portions of the new AT&T that had been part of SBC Communications before November 18, 2005 were not mentioned. On June 21, 2006, the San Francisco Chronicle reported that AT&T had rewritten rules on their privacy policy. The policy, which took effect June 23, 2006, says that AT&T not customers owns customers' confidential info and can use it to protect its legitimate business interests, safeguard others, or respond to legal process. On August 22, 2007, National Intelligence Director Mike McConnell confirmed that AT&T was one of the telecommunications companies that assisted with the government's warrantless wiretapping program on calls between foreign and domestic sources. On November 8, 2007, Mark Klein, a former AT&T technician, told Keith Olbermann of MSNBC that all Internet traffic passing over AT&T lines was copied into a locked room at the company's San Francisco office to which only employees with National Security Agency clearance had access. AT&T keeps for 5 to 7 years a record of who text messages whom and the date and time, but not the content of the messages. Intellectual property filtering. In January 2008, the company reported plans to begin filtering all Internet traffic which passes through its network for intellectual property violations. Commentators in the media have speculated that if this plan is implemented, it would lead to a mass exodus of subscribers leaving AT&T, although this is misleading as Internet traffic may go through the company's network anyway. Internet freedom proponents used these developments as justification for government-mandated network neutrality. Discrimination against local public access television channels. AT&T is accused by community media groups of discriminating against local public, educational, and government access cable TV channels, by impictions that will severely restrict the audience. According to Barbara Popovic, Executive Director of the Chicago Public Access Service CAN-TV, the new AT&T U-verse system forces all public access television into a special menu system, denying normal functionality such as channel numbers, access to the standard program guide, and DVR recording. The ratepayer advocates division of the California Public Utilities Commission reported, instead of putting the stations on individual channels, AT&T has bundled community stations into a generic channel that can only be navigated through a complex and lengthy process. Sue Busk argued that this is an overall attack on public access across the United States, the place in the dial around cities and communities where people can make their own media in their own communities. Information security. In June 2010, a hacker group known as Goats Security discovered a vulnerability within the AT&T that could allow anyone to uncover email addresses belonging to customers of AT&T 3G service for the Apple iPad. These email addresses could be accessed without a protective password. Using a script, Goats Security collected thousands of email addresses from AT&T. Goats Security informed AT&T about the security flaw through a third party. Goats Security then disclosed around 114,000 of these emails to Gawker Media, which published an article about the security flaw on disclosure in Whitacre. Praetorian Security Group criticized the web application that Goats Security exploited as poorly designed. Accusations of enabling fraud. In March 2012, the United States federal government announced a lawsuit against AT&T. The specific accusations state that AT&T violated the False Claims Act by facilitating and seeking federal payment for IP relay calls by international callers who were ineligible for the service and sought to use it for fraudulent purposes. The complaint alleges that, out of fears that fraudulent call volume would drop after the registration deadline, AT&T knowingly adopted a non-compliant registration system that did not verify whether the user was located within the United States. The complaint further contends that AT&T continued to employ this system even with the knowledge that it facilitated use of IP relay by fraudulent foreign callers, which accounted for up to 95% of AT&T's call volume. The government's complaint alleges that AT&T improperly billed the TRS fund for reimbursement of these calls and received millions of dollars in federal payments as a result. Naming rights and sponsorships, buildings. AT&T 220 Building a Euro building in Indianapolis, Indiana, AT&T Building a Euro building in Detroit, Michigan, AT&T Building a Euro building in Indianapolis, Indiana, AT&T Building a Euro building in Kingman, Arizona, AT&T Building a Euro in Nashville, Tennessee, AT&T Building a Euro building in Omaha, Nebraska, AT&T Building Addition a Euro building in Detroit, Michigan, AT&T Center a Euro building in Los Angeles, AT&T Center a Euro building in St. Louis, Missouri, AT&T Center a Euro building in Charlotte, NC, AT&T City Center a Euro building in Birmingham, Alabama, AT&T Corporate Center a Euro building in Chicago, Illinois, AT&T Huron Road building a Euro building in Cleveland, Ohio, AT&T Lenox Park Campus a Euro AT&T Mobility Headquarters in DeKalb County just outside Atlanta, Georgia, AT&T Midtown Center a Euro building in Atlanta, Georgia, AT&T Switching Center a Euro building in Los Angeles, AT&T Switching Center a Euro building in Oakland, California, AT&T Switching Center a Euro building in San Francisco, AT&T Building a Euro building in San Diego, Whitacre Tower a Euro corporate headquarters, Dallas, Texas, AT&T Tower a Euro building in Jacksonville, FL, venues. AT&T Center a Euro San Antonio, Texas, AT&T Field a Euro Chattanooga, Tennessee, AT&T Park a Euro San Francisco, AT&T Plaza a Euro Chicago, Illinois, AT&T Plaza a Euro Dallas, Texas, AT&T Performing Arts Center a Euro Dallas, Texas, AT&T Stadium a Euro Arlington, Texas, Jones AT&T Stadium a Euro Lubbock, Texas, TPC San Antonio a Euro San Antonio, Texas, War Memorial Stadium, AT&T Field, Little Rock, Arkansas. Sponsorships, AT&T Champions Classic a Euro Valencia, California, AT&T Championship. San Antonio, Texas, AT&T Classic a Euro Atlanta, Georgia, AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic a Euro played in Arlington, Texas, at AT&T Stadium. AT&T National a Euro Washington, D.C. AT&T Pebble Beach National Pro-Am, AT&T Red River Rivalry a Euro Dallas, Texas, Major League Soccer and the United States Soccer Federation, including the U.S. men's and U.S. women's national teams and the Major League Soccer All-Star Game from 2009, United States Olympic Team, National Collegiate Athletic Association, AT&T American Cup, Artistic Gymnastics Competition. Sponsored by AT&T since 2011. Miscellaneous. AT&T A Euro Public Transportation Station in Philadelphia, PA, global presence. AT&T offers services in many locations throughout the Asia-Pacific. Its regional headquarters is located in Hong Kong. See also: AT&T Corporation, AT&T Internet Services, AT&T Mobility, AT.net, Bell System divestiture, Communications Assistance for Law Enforcement Act, Cricket Wireless, Hepting v. AT&T, lists of public utilities, modification of final judgment, NSA warrantless surveillance, Pacific Bell, PRX, Regional Bell Operating Company, Talk to Me, tying of the iPhone to AT&T, Information Technology in India, references. External links, corporate information, official website, brand evolution of AT&T companies, AT&T history and science resources at the Franklin Institute's case files online exhibit, press release announcing FCC approval of SBC Ameritech merger, block stolen AT&T phones, AT&T SIP trunking, AT&T Tech Channel archives, articles, Thyra, Adam D. Unnatural monopoly, critical moments in the development of the Bell system monopoly Cato.org, AT&T buys IBM's global network. BBC News. December 8, 1998 Reardon, Marguerite. SBC closes AT&T acquisition. Connect News Reardon, Marguerite. AT&T to buy Bell South for $67 a billion. Connect News AT&T whistleblower to urge Senate to reject blanket immunity for telecoms. Electronic Frontier Foundation A.